Osapèkwinùnt. You know me as Yankee. This is not going to be a long video. I just really didn't feel like doing this as a video and editing and all that crap. I am going to say this video is inspired by the Brian and Gabby story, but that's incorrect. It's not actually inspired by their story as much as it's inspired by all the ignorance in the comments that follow their story. So hang on, and if you don't like what I got to say, feel free to give it a thumbs down and to add your comment. I answer all my comments, even my hateful ones. So simple, plain and quick. Some of the things that are really bothering me about this particular case, the things that people don't really speak about. First of all, and foremost, in the United States of America, you are innocent until proven guilty. Now, that's just a plain fact. As of right now, Brian is a suspect for credit card fraud. He's not guilty of that until he's proven guilty of that. Do you understand? Okay, that's a key factor in the way America works. And if we forget that factor just because of the evidence, and we just say, oh, well, now we don't need courts to decide, then you're screwing yourself, believe me. That's not what you want to do. That's not what you want to accomplish in this story. So, you will not hear me say anytime throughout this video that Brian is guilty. Not because I believe he is or isn't, but because I believe in the judicial system here in the United States. I believe that once a jury says he's guilty, then we can call Brian guilty. So, as far as the persecution of I've read comments that said he should be drawn and quartered. Well, that's a hell of a way to treat somebody who hasn't even gone to court yet, isn't it? Okay. And I got a bunch of little rants, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and just lay out my rants. Next on the line, well, I don't know if it's next on the line. Amongst the rants, let me add in the Appalachian Trail aspect, okay? And first of all, let me answer a quick question. Now, I'm going to answer these quick, right, as a yes and no. Can you survive on a trail without being seen by other people and live there for damn near indefinitely? Answer short, yes, without a doubt. You can definitely do that. How? Now, how comes in with a longer explanation. So let me start out with how. First of all, people in the comment section are all quick to say, oh, I go to these trailheads and there's 500 people going into the trail every day. And they're walking the whole trail. Now, listen, here's a true fact about hiking the Appalachian Trail. Less than, you hear me now, I say this again, less than 10%. Now, that's a small number, and it's less than that number. Less than 10% of all hikers that set out to walk the Appalachian Trail, less than 10% actually do it. All the rest, they don't do it. Okay? First of all, the ones that do it, 90% of that less than 10% actually stay in motel rooms, take car rides to skip the long vacant parts of the trail. These are things that they do, okay? Because we live in a sissy society. The years I grew up in are long gone. They're long gone. And those of you old dogs out there, and I'm not saying dog because of the ancient dog who's sniffing in people's trash right now. That's a whole nother story, and we can rant on that in a minute. But all you old individuals out there, much like myself, you know a different time of the Appalachian Trail. So when we say we talk about hikers on the trail back then compared to hikers on the trail today in the modern society, it's completely different. It's 100% different, because these kids, they don't do things the way we did. They just don't. They got to get a motel every night. They got to lay in a hot tub after their hike and wait until the next morning when they're back on the trail to take their pictures and claim, look at what we're doing. So it's a really important key factor that because there's so many people on the trail, that doesn't mean that in the long stretches, in the vacant stretches, that there isn't plenty of place to hide. Now, I don't call myself an expert, but I actually lived on the trail for several months. You guys can learn all this stuff about me if you follow my channel. Not only have I lived on the trail, I actually lived homeless in the streets for several months. And as a survivalist, I can tell you this: you will learn more from the homeless living than you'll ever learn from any of these so-called gurus on YouTube. You want to know what it's like to survive? Go spend a month with the homeless. You'll learn things that you didn't even know. You never even fashioned how to stay warm in the middle of winter. You're gonna be blown away. But again, my rant, and I don't want it to be real long. I'm already in 5 minutes. I'm gonna try to keep this around 15 minutes long. If Brian and Gabby story, okay, how this is playing out as of right now, it's literally a modern day witch hunt. I am not against him being looked for, but I am so against the way it's all being gone about, and I'm totally against the false persecution of a man who has not been tried yet. That's wrong. It's wrong. As far as the way the media handles it, okay, let's hit this too. Everybody, and you can go ahead and call me one too, because wait until I'm done with this video and see what I do with the thumbnail and the title, right? Because I'm gonna use, just like everybody else, the situation to get people to come to this video. However, I feel it's valid on my side because I am actually trying to educate you guys, opposed to trying to just feed the rhetoric. So I'm going to. But let me explain to you how social media works. And this is for all the viewers, all you guys that are not YouTube creators, but you think you got a grasp on how social media works. Listen, the reason you're seeing this so much is because I can give you the whole breakdown. Why did this story blow up? Well, it blew up not because of social media, but because news broadcast on TV dropped the name and mentioned the YouTube channel. Within 30 minutes of them saying that, the one video that they had on their YouTube channel with somewhere around 40 or 50 views, because I actually knew them before, I actually talked to them before this all went down, about growing channels. One of the things I do here on my channel is help other community members. You guys, if you follow me, you know that. So it's no big deal for me to reach out to outdoor content creators who I see could do something different to help, and I'll throw out the advice. That video blew up in one day. Now, in one day, that video had over 11K views. One day. Now, why is that important? I'm going to tell you why that's important. In social media, in YouTube, and all these other things, they use an algorithm, okay? Because of the flow of over 11K people that went to this one video, they pushed that video in the algorithm to where the algorithm said, whoa, this is a great video, show it to everybody. Okay, but then what happened? Well, then everyone continued to search Gabby and Brian. So all it takes at this point is to create something Gabby Brian related, and the algorithm is still picking you up thinking, because the algorithm ain't a human, it's a computer. It's thinking, another video like Gabby and Brian's that blew up in one day. Okay, that's why this story is so big on social media. That's why. Why is it continuing to be big on social media? Easy answer again, because of money grubbing. Anybody who is a creator knows that you act on the trending items. If it's trending and you want to make money on YouTube, That is the videos you talk about, you do your content about. This is how the algorithm works. So everyone who cares about the story, you're being played, you're being used, okay, by the algorithm, by the YouTube system. They're actually just, because it don't care. The computer don't care about somebody's life or death. Think about that a minute. It don't care. But the reason why it's everywhere is because the computer picked it up. So you're being played by that system. You're also being played by 99% of the creators who keep pushing videos. Look, a dog, and I just, man, I should probably just save that for a whole nother video, because that's an entirely whole long rant. Why in the world anybody would pick that man as a role model is beyond me. It's obvious that you don't know about him. That's why. But you can't. And hello, welcome. I'm sorry if I'm rambling, and I'll say hello to the chat room real quick, and greetings. This is going to be a real short video. I just wanted to get out some of these key factors that have been weighing on my mind about this story, and about the ignorance and the blind ignorance that continues to follow this story. It's really appalling. Let me give you an example of some of that blind ignorance. Excuse me, and you can find this yourself, okay? Easy, find this yourself. There has been protesters in front of Gabby and Brian's parents' house constantly, screaming, tell what you know, all this stuff, right? You guys know that. But what I want you to do is I want you to go back and rewatch those videos and take notice of the signs people are holding and some of the things they're literally screaming, okay? One of the signs, which looked like by a high school kid, I don't know how old he was. I'm hoping he was a high school kid and he just didn't get to this part of learning yet. But he held a sign that read, "Speak and prove you're innocent." Now, guys, as an American citizen, as nothing else but as an American citizen, that's the most appalling statement I've ever heard in my life. Speak and prove your innocence. I hear him screaming on the bullhorn, "If you won't talk to the cops, you're guilty." Well, let me tell you something. Okay, there's a Miranda right. Okay, when you talk to a cop, now you don't have to be arrested to hear your Miranda rights. All you need to be is interviewed by a police officer, and the first thing he will say to you is, "You have the right to remain silent." Okay, now keep that in mind, because that's a key factor here. So nobody's breaking the law when they don't talk, because you have the right to remain silent. But if you don't have the right to remain silent, that's covered next. Okay, if you choose to speak, what you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. Can and will be used against you in the court of law. So anyone who's ignorant and says, "Oh, well, they're talking through their lawyer, so they're guilty," you just ain't never been in any trouble with the law. I mean, and you don't even have to be in trouble with the law. You just ain't ever had any dealings with the law. That's it. Or you're ignorant, and you'll one day find out that they will hold the things you say against you. Not for you, against you. Okay? And it's easy to mess up when talking to the law, guys. Because law's black and white when it goes into court, right? You could say to me something like, one of the TV movies made fun. Oh, My Cousin Vinny actually did that. I don't know if you ever seen the movie, but when the kid was arrested, the cops got a full confession. Now, this is really, I know this is a movie and that's fictional, but y'all live in a fictional dog world anyway, so let me bring some fiction into it. In the movie, the cops have evidence for court that the kid confessed to the murder, okay? Because the cop read the quote, the kid said, "Me? I murdered him. I murdered him. I murdered him." But if you watch the movie, in the interview, the kid said, "Me? I murdered him. I murdered him." Okay, right? So he wasn't confessing, but in writing, because they can use whatever you say against you, okay, boom, it's a confession. Well, in the movie, it played out differently. The court did not convict, so they were innocent of their crime. But that's not much different than what we're talking about here right now. What you say is if you have nothing to hide and are speaking the truth, you can never be called out. Actually, you can. I mean, it's all about the way. That's why you're told to get a lawyer, guys. This is why you're told to get a lawyer. And you may hear some heavy breathing. That's Hila. I don't know if you guys can't see her. Hila. It's a matter of, look, if you and me are talking, you may use sarcasm while talking. You may do something like, huh, yeah, right, like I killed him. Okay, now you and me talking as another person, you say, oh yeah, well no, I didn't think he killed him. I think he was like, messing around, like yeah, sure I did. But in black and white, when you write that statement down and you read it to the jury, it takes on a whole different flavor. It takes on a whole different sale. So you can be 100% innocent and have nothing to hide, but go to prison because of your statement, because of the way you said it. So don't ever fall into this rhetoric that, oh, if you're questioned by the police, as long as you're honest and tell the truth and have nothing to hide, you won't get in trouble. That's a lie. That's the biggest lie you're ever going to be told in your life. Do not believe that for a minute. Trust me, I am trying to protect you. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to tell you the truth. This whole thing is really appalling because look at how many YouTube channels make a living off of doing what they call auditing America, right? Where they go around and they harass cops to try to get them to break the law in some fashion so that they can call them out on this. All the while, hundreds of people, actually it's thousands of people, it ain't hundreds, thousands of people are outright blatantly saying he's guilty before he even went to court. Let's have an audit on that, America. What country do you live in? No, but I know it don't look good for Brian, but you will never hear me say he's guilty. Even when he's in jail, waiting trial, I will not say he's guilty because he is not guilty until he is proven guilty. And innocent is the only thing he is, because everyone is innocent until proven guilty. That's the damn fact right there. Boom. I don't know how else to say it. I hit 18 minutes. I really didn't mean to. Yes, I get what you mean. It's all about context. On paper, it can look something else, and that's it, man. That's exactly it. And hey, Ike with Mike. To go back to the Appalachian Trail real quick for a minute, though. I mean, I personally don't believe he's hiding out on the Appalachian Trail. I lived a really long time on the Appalachian Trail. In doing this, I did not have an easy time, but I do know that most of today's modern so-called survivalists wouldn't be able to do it. It's too easy to get off the trail and get what you need, but it's not impossible. So I just want to leave that out there. And let me tell you one that nobody's thinking about, right? Because I love how people say, you can't be on the trail because there's too many people. Well, in the beginning of this video, I cleared that. I told you the truth about the trail and all those people. Second of all, the real long stretches, and there's a few of them, that you do not have the opportunity to step off the trail and get supplies. Those real long stretches, those are the stretches most of the people skip over, okay? There may be a few of you that have done those stretches, but believe me, and you know if you are one of them, that you don't see people in those stretches because they're the stretches everybody skips over. Who the hell wants to be out there where you can't get any help when you can skip over it and tell everybody on social media you did it, right? And that's what really occurs. Another person had claimed that on the Appalachian Trail, you'd have to be staying by water. You'd have to be staying in an area where you could get food. That's, it's all a myth. In all actuality, on the Appalachian Trail, if you were smart, here you go, and I'm going to tell you straight up how you could survive even into the winter, all right, and not ever be hungry or thirsty, ever. You never be hungry or thirsty. How? If you regular the trail, okay, and you know the area really well. I have never once been in any long stretch. Sorry about that, guys. I've never once been in any long stretch that there was not a trail angel who left things behind, okay? What is a trail angel? Those of you who don't walk the trail, you probably don't know. You can be walking in the middle of the woods and come to a big old cooler with a sign on it that says, have a cold drink. In fact, I'll tell you a true story. My first beer I ever had in my life, I was a kid, way too young to drink beer. My first beer I ever had in my life was because I came across a Trail Angels cooler and they had cold beer in it. You don't meet the Trail Angels, hence why they call themselves angels, right? There are some that'll actually set up and they'll give you food and sandwiches, but that's seeing people. There are a crap load that just pack the cooler into the woods with the sign and leave it, and they leave, and they come back the next day and they change the cooler out with another one. Now, if you're smart and you regular an area, you could actually set up somewhere and watch the Trail Angels bring it in, watch them leave, go get your food, go get your water. You can do this every day, if you were smart and knew the area. So, again, don't think it's impossible. I don't think he's out there, though. My personal opinion, I don't. I don't think he's got it. I don't think he's got what it takes to be out there. But, that probably falls more on my opinion of modern society than it does on anything else. And I know the wind's getting up a little bit for you guys. I ran this 20 minutes, man. I really wanted to just ramble everything out in 15 or less, but I just did not make it. I am going to retitle this video to try to give it a little bit of attention. I'm trying to think if there was any other key factors that I wanted to mention that I didn't. Above all and anything else, please don't fall into the trap of accusing this kid of murder. Remember, all murders are a homicide, but not all homicides are a murder. As of right now, we only know of the homicide part of this case. The autopsy results, although I believe are done. I have never seen in my life history it taking any longer than what they've already had. They're going on 3 weeks, or they may even be over that point. The autopsy's finished. Here's why I'm a little bit concerned that everyone's jumping the gun, because I know that autopsy's got to be finished and they're not releasing the details. So there's more to this than you all know. And I'm telling you right now. So how can a homicide not be murder? Well, there's plenty of ways. And let me give you a quick example so that you can understand. Because all murders are a homicide, but not all homicides are murders. Example, hunting accident. I was shooting a deer, but I missed a deer and it shot Joe Bubba over there in the head and now he's dead. That is a homicide. It is not a murder. Okay? It's an accident. But it's a homicide. And that's how it'll be written. That's the first initial coroner report. How else can a homicide happen that's not a murder? Oh, well, here you go. You ready? I love giving this example, so this might freak some of you out, but get ready for this example. Well, if me and my girlfriend were into rough sex and we like to choke each other, but today she didn't wake up, that's homicide, but it's not murder. It is not murder. It's homicide, but not murder. Okay? Brian and Gabby were both scratched up and shit. Look to me like maybe they like to play rough. People do that. Don't think you know everybody because you don't play rough. People do that. It's a real thing. I know I'm going to offend people in this video. Please don't be afraid to give it a thumbs down. And more so, don't be afraid to leave a comment, because I got broad shoulders. I will answer every one of your comments, and I will validate everything I said. And I didn't get into dog, and I'm not going to get into dog because I know there's a bunch of I seen 100 comments of people debating about who Dog was when he was a professional wrestler. Now, if you all know anything about Dog, he was never a professional wrestler, but he was a felon and still is a felon yet to this day. Ask Dog why he's the only bounty hunter that don't carry a gun. It's not because he's from Mayberry. That's not why. It's because he's not allowed to. Because felons can't carry guns. Well, that's vehicular, and they throw the vehicular. They throw when it's done with a vehicle. They usually do clarify that really quick in initial autopsy. It's a vehicular homicide. It's still a homicide, though, Stoner, and you're 100% correct. So again, you run over somebody with your car. You didn't mean to run. I mean, unless you were trying to. I mean, there could be a situation where that's murder, I'm sure. But it's always homicide. Whether or not it's murder takes further investigation. And that further investigation has not been released yet. Ask yourself why, though, because at this point in this story, us not knowing why, not knowing why, but we're not knowing how she actually died. That's a key factor, that the police are holding information for a reason. And police don't hold information for no reason. There's a reason. First of all, if it was released that it was not murder, this would change a lot of things for the way things are going. So that may be a reason. I don't know. I don't know the reason, but I do know that if the police aren't talking about it, there is a reason. And think about it. 3 days ago, everything went dark. You still got 100 videos a day about Gabby and Brian, but nothing new. Everybody went dark. Why did everyone go dark? All right, there's something to that, guys. Social media is what makes people demand information. Yeah, it's need to know. There you go. What's up? What's up, Emily? And okay, guys, I appreciate you guys coming in. You guys want to ask me anything, because maybe you'll even get me to ramble and rant a little bit longer. I know the wind's coming in. I kind of got you guys blocked here by this tree, and I'm moving it again. I got the microphones kind of like right up against the tree, so I'm hoping it's helping block that whistle of the wind. Do I think he ever went to the swamp? Gee whiz. Honestly, I think if he's in the swamp, he's dead. You know, everyone's quick to say, oh, well, Brian would not commit suicide because he's the type of person who hurts others. Well, if we give a speculation, that's all anybody gives, first of all, is speculation. So my speculation is just as valid. If Brian and this girl were in a fight, and she was scratching him and slapping him like she admittedly does, and he said, "Get off me," and he shoved her, and she fell down and smacked the back of her head or broke her neck, and he freaked out and hid the body because, oh my God, what do I do? I'm a kid and I'm not smart enough to know what to do. And everyone's going to think I did it, right? And then he disappeared into the swamp. If that scenario is true, he went to the swamp to kill himself because he can't live with it. It's not because he didn't kill her because he's a violent, vicious monster. If it were to have unfolded the way I said. then it would have been purely accidental, and the kid would have been distraught, and he probably went there to kill himself. There's a lot of gators and shit in Florida, dude. I mean, honestly, if a gator pulled you down, a gator, when it takes any type of prey, a gator will take its prey and shove it up under embankments and shit down under the water and let it rot so that it's easier to eat. Okay, so I mean, if that's the situation, it could be a situation where he's never found ever. His parents were buying it, and that's very well possible. The thing is that's all speculation. I don't know that the parents were buying them time, though. See, that's another offensive remark. If you have ever had kids in your life, and your kids try, like most kids try, to impress you, and try to do the right things in front of their mom and dad. Good God, I knew a guy that was 30 years old and he still wouldn't smoke a cigarette in front of his parents. Well, they don't know I smoke. Okay. My point with all of this, to say his parents know something, they may not know anything more than a speculation themselves. And they sure to hell can't say their speculation to the police. As I explained earlier in this video, if they were to do that, it would be held against them in the court of law. Okay. So whether or not his parents bought him time, I don't know. The police don't seem to think so. But on speculation aspect, I look at it as a father. I know your kid does not quickly come and tell you that they did something you're going to be disappointed in. They don't. Brian could have very easily been distraught, and they noticed that, so that would have been something they noticed. But who knows what he told his parents? Maybe he told his parents, she left with some other dude, and I just me in the van there, so I came home. So, of course, he's upset. He just lost his fiancé. She ran off with a trucker. Right? Who knows what he told his parents? We don't know. And his parents are smart, and they're not telling us what he told them. And why do I say they're smart? Well, because even if they didn't hear anything incriminating, if they are not careful how they say it to the police, they will get in trouble. Because the police aren't in it for you. All right, they're in it for them. They need a closure on this case. And the longer it goes on, the more the witch hunt will start to turn directions. Because once a police cannot catch his suspect, that's when he'll catch anybody and make them the suspect. Believe it, that happens in this country. That's why you all need to stand up and realize anytime someone says, Brian, he's a guilt, you need to correct them. Because Brian is an American citizen, so he is innocent until proven guilty, period. Period. There's a period there. There's no but, if, with exception. You walked in and caught him covered in blood standing over the body, he's still innocent until he's proven guilty, regardless. My dog's running to the front of the road. Guys, I'm going to end it right here. I did not want to go this long of a video, but I appreciate everyone who stopped in. Again, if you have any comment you want to leave, if you want to talk about this more, if you're a news reporter and you want a real life experienced person who has actually lived 9 months consecutively on the trail and done it without interfering with people, get a hold of me. Talk to me. I'll tell you some real shit that you're not sharing. You're sitting behind the desk. They I don't know what kind of experts they are. They aren't experts. That's the thing. They're experts in theory, and it's great to sit and use your mind and become an expert in what you think. But it's a different story to be an expert in the action. And I don't even call myself an expert. This is how I live. This is how I live. If you guys follow my channel, this is my house you're looking at right here. I don't know what else to say. All right, guys, I love you. Appreciate you. I see somebody said they subbed, and that's awesome. I appreciate it. Everybody's welcome. And again, don't mess with these creators that aren't even bothering to answer your questions. If you want to talk about this and you want to debate, or you want to trash somebody for having the opinion that Brian is innocent until proven guilty, get a hold of me. Go ahead. Trash me in the comments section. I answer all comments. You're not going to like all the answers, but I answer them all. Until our trails meet again, I hope all your adventures are awesome. Wanishi Top for watching. Remember the MMIW. If you don't know what it is, please research it. Much love, everybody.